Let's try this one more time, huh? These lives are always fun while you're waiting for people to join in it. Hey guys, thanks for joining. How's everyone doing? I'm still waiting for Caposaldo to join in here, but how's everyone doing? We're gonna do a tasting of Caposaldo wine today, and specifically I'm tasting through the sparkling peach, which this is gonna be a new one for me, but I'm excited to taste this. Hey, there they are. Hi, Liamka. All right, let me add these guys. Hi, Kara. You're excited to taste it too? I like it. Hey, Mike. There you are.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Very well. Good evening. Good afternoon.
All right.
Friday.
You're what time is it where you are?
East Coast. So
East Coast.
7
Okay,
o'clock.
7 o'clock. Nice.
Yep.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you for joining us. We've got a few people already popped in, and we'll just hang out and chat, and hopefully more people will add slowly here and there.
Yeah.
Hi, Co-Brand Wines. Thanks for joining.
Hey, guys.
All right. So tell me a little bit about Caposaldo. This is my first time tasting them, and this bottle is beautiful, by the way. These are really gorgeous. I looked at all the rest of you guys' wines. Really love the label. I like the way you guys market it out. It looks really beautiful. So
Yeah, that one stands out. It's got those little peaches hiding in there. So
I know. I saw that. At first I was like, is it like clothes? And then the more I looked at it, I'm like, oh, it's horses and peaches.
Yep. Our logo as a brand is those double horses, which is it sort of goes back to a story about being a benchmark of quality, but we won't get into that now. We're going to talk about Caposaldo Peach and the brand. So we're a brand based out of northern Italy. And there's a fun story about this brand. It's brought in by us, co-brand, but it's made by this guy called Antonio Fattori. And he's this rock star winemaker in northern Italy. He makes Soave under his own name. And he makes these very serious Soaves. It's a white wine. It's super high acid. It's like extremely classic Italian white wine. And he gets
my style. I like it.
Yeah, it's beautiful stuff. He gets big scores for it. It's really like a traditional wine. So he does that, and then he makes Caposaldo, which is it's like his fun outlet. It's his way to really be creative, to think outside the box, to use a combination of new technologies and classic grapes and classic styles. And so it's an expression of creativity, and it really comes out in all the wines.
Hi, everyone who's joined.
Hey, cheers. So,
Yeah.
on the one hand, you have this guy making these super classic bone dry white wines, and he's also making like our Prosecco and our sparkling peach, which is certainly less of a classic Italian wine, but is portfolio.
You went silent. Oh, there you go. Your service is going in and out.
Oh, I apologize. Let me see. Let me know if I drop out again.
No worries.
I can always try and change devices. So what was the last thing?
Yeah, you're good right now. The Prosecco, and then you kind of went mute there.
Oh yeah, so
that's his like.
And he also makes things like sparkling peach moscato, which I wouldn't call a old-fashioned traditional Italian wine, but he uses the same styles, the same tradition, and the same sort of laser-focused attention to detail that he has to make this wine. And I think it really comes through. There's a lot of sweeter sparkling wines out there that are just sort of delivering sweetness and a little fizz, and that's sort of where it ends. And I don't think that's the case with our sparkling peach. I think it's actually really sort of beautiful, fragrant, a complex finish of, yes, white peach, but also tropical fruit, great acidic backbone. His expertise as a winemaker really comes through in it.
Yeah, I like that. Well, I'm going to pour myself a glass and let's taste through this. I agree with you. Even just smelling it, the nose just even, like, I just popped it open and it's that beautiful, beautiful aromatic peach, like really fresh. And I really like that. That's a very fun wine.
Yeah, it's a great way to describe it. The aromas, the scents really do sort of explode out of the bottle, out of the glass there. It is a great sort of hint of what you're going to get when you try it.
Wow, that is delicious. And it's not super sweet. For some reason, I thought it might be even sweeter than it is. Maybe the peach kind of threw me off. Maybe that was my association, that it'd be even more sweeter, but it's still got a little bit of dryness in it. So it's like beautifully balanced for someone who's not too keen on like sweet wines or sweet sparkling. This is a perfect medium.
That's exactly right. It's the best of both worlds in that sense.
I agree.
You get the benefits of the sweetness, but it's, as you said, properly balanced. In any kind of sweet wine, you need to make sure you have enough acid in it to sort of play with the sweetness. So you get the sweetness, but then that acidity sort of snaps it shut at the end, and you're left with a clean finish.
Yeah.
You drink a sweet wine that doesn't have good acidity, then the sweetness quickly becomes really overwhelming.
I agree. A
lot of it, but I found with the sparkling peach, you can get through a whole bottle just like you didn't realize it.
I know. My sister's over here and she's telling me I can't wait to taste this, and I'm thinking to myself, I think I prematurely promised her a bottle. It is a delicious, delicious wine. I agree.
I'm glad you think so.
Awesome.
That's I'm drinking Caposaldo Pinot Grigio because it's what I had, because we're still very shut down over here.
Yeah.
You obviously get some, but I figured, pretty close.
Yep, we're close. Can you tell me a little bit more about Caposaldo, like just a little bit of history about them, how they started, and I don't know, about their vineyard, about them and stuff?
Yeah. So, like I was saying, it's this sort of creative outlet for Antonio. We at Co-Brand came to him about 15 years ago and talked about doing a brand like this. We had worked with him in the 80s. Co-Brand's been around for 75 years. That's the advantage of a company like this, where you have these amazing relationships with really top quality winemakers. So we came to him 15 years ago, said we'd like to do a wine brand like this. Just fun, really forward thinking, outside of the box. And he was really excited about it, and it launched from there. So the brand allows him to use new technologies, really cutting edge stuff. You talk about like the explosive aromas of the sparkling peach. It's not an accident. He uses techniques like keeping the must, the crushed juice, at a really cold temperature, like just a degree or two above freezing. And he'll keep things as cold as he can through the entire fermentation process, much colder than usual. And that really helps to preserve those aromas and the really delicate flavors, because heat, if you've ever cooked with anything, heat has a tendency to break things down.
Yeah, of course.
These aromatics are really, really delicate little, like the molecules and things. You don't affect them by keeping things cold. So that's one method he uses. Another thing that he does, which I think is really cool, is he actually makes this on demand. So you think about wine production, a lot of the time it's you bring in the grapes, you crush it, you ferment it, you put it in a bottle, and you're done. That's it for the year. He brings the the unfermented juice down to 32 degrees to freezing.
Mhm.
Keep it in the tank, and that keeps it like completely in stasis. Like nothing happens to it. So when we need it, when it's time to send some over to the United States, he brings the temperature up just a little bit, starts fermentation there, and makes it completely fresh at that moment. So there's no concern about it having been in the bottle too long, coming over on the ship, maybe it sat on the shelf for too long and lost some of its fizz. That doesn't happen with Caposaldo because it's all made as fresh as possible and brought over the last possible moment.
That is so awesome.
Yeah, it's the little stuff, you know?
Hey guys, other people that joined, thanks for joining us. We're just hanging out with Mike. He's the manager for Caposaldo Wine. And yeah, if you guys have any questions too, feel free to ask as well. What is the method that he uses for his sparkling?
So this one is actually secondary fermentation. A lot of wine at this level, at this price point, it's done in the transfer method, the tank method, where the bubbles are forced in, sort of like a soda stream. That's but like that.
That's a good way to put it. Never thought about it that way.
This is actual natural secondary fermentation in the bottle. So much like champagne, there's a decent amount of sugar that's left in it when it's bottled, and secondary fermentation starts back up at that time. So it's a little bit more of a laborious method. But again, all these little extra things, all these details really add to the quality and the impression of the wine, and it gives you that complete flavor profile you get when you sip it.
I agree. It's very like it's very aromatic. It's got that sweetness, but a little bit of dryness as well. It's literally that perfect in between wine for people. For example, I grew up in a culture that either didn't drink a whole lot of wine, or if they did, it's very sweet wine that people are used to that I know close. So this would be a really good wine for people like that haven't quite built that palate for those higher alcoholic type wines. And this is perfect because this is right around 7%, I believe, right?
Oh yeah, 6.5%, 7%.
Yeah, which is perfect. You don't have that, high alcohol content, high acidity and stuff. It's just a great overall balance for someone who's not used to those wines, and it is a good gateway, so to speak, into learning about more wines and opening up your palate towards something different.
Absolutely, it's just very easy drinking, and
that's very easy drinking.
It doesn't try to be too much or something it's not. It tries to be exactly what it is, and I think it succeeds in doing that. As a result, it's also super versatile. I mean, you can drink it sitting on a Friday afternoon just like that, but the sweetness in it makes it actually a really good food wine.
What would you pair this wine with?
Spicy food. Yeah, I mean, the sugar content in it is going to stand up to those really, really strong, spicy flavors way better than in a dry wine. If you were drinking dry wine with Indian food, if you're having vindaloo, after your first bite of the vindaloo, you wouldn't taste the wine anymore, really, because
I agree.
Exactly, the spice would bulldoze everything. The thing about a sweeter wine, like the peach, is that the sugar pushes right back. It sort of takes back over on your taste buds, and can in fact enhance the spicy food, sort of going back and forth between the two very different types of flavor. And then again with that acid on the finish to keep things sort of clean and fresh.
So what spicy food idea would you do? Like Indian, like spicy, something Thai style spicy? What would you go with?
Say Thai, yeah. Green curries, red curries, things with coconut in it.
Ooh, that sounds great.
Yeah, because some of those more sort of herbal flavors, the basil and things like that, go really well with peach. So that would be making me hungry.
I know. Now I'm hungry. Now I'm thinking, Javi had the right idea to start to do curry today. Maybe we'll do that.
Yeah. No, we already fed the kids. They're having a bath now. So now my wife and I are gonna have to figure out what we're gonna eat for dinner. So
Well, there you go. I like it. What other wines does he make in Caposaldo? What other varietals are part of like his wines, I guess? And yeah,
okay, so it's sort of it started as the sort of classic Italian wine. So it started
sorry,
with
Wine Spencer. We're drinking the sparkling peach from Caposaldo. It's right there. Hope you can
wine.
see it.
So we started with our Pinot Grigio
Hmm.
because it's sort of hard to get more classic Italian than that. And then
Yep.
we start branching out. We have a Chianti. We of course have a Prosecco. Yeah, the sparkling peach. We have a sparkling rosé,
Ooh,
which
I'd like to try that.
actually exciting news. The consortio, the bosses of Prosecco, just announced. You probably heard that rosé Prosecco is going to become a thing. They declared
I
it.
I saw that someone was talking about it yesterday, I believe. I saw that floating around the
Hmm.
gram. I was like, ooh, this is going to be exciting. That's always been, I think, my fan favorite when it comes to bubbles. I've always leaned towards Prosecco
Hmm.
more, so I'm excited to try that.
Me too. We're working on it. They're very strict with their rules, and as is their prerogative, they want to make sure that everything that coming out of the region with a Prosecco name on it is, of the quality that it should be. So the only red grape you can use in it is going to be Pinot Noir.
Yeah,
Great, people know and love Pinot Noir, and the
that's
first
great.
first day it's allowed to ship is October 15th of this year.
That's
So,
so cool.
so you can expect to start seeing it, start seeing Caposaldo, Prosecco Rosé on the shelves right around the new year.
Oh, I can't wait. Hi, Wonderlia. Thanks you guys for joining.
And what else do we make? We make a still rosé out of
Mhm.
Corvina, which is beautiful. Corvina is not known as the most accessible, easiest grape, but because of those modern techniques, the very cold process, he makes
Mhm.
this beautiful, soft, floral, light rosé out of it.
Oh,
And
that sounds so good.
I need some. Oh man, it's finally gotten hot here on the East Coast. It was a very cool spring, but it's fully rosé season now.
It's been crazy hit and miss here too. We got all excited about a couple weeks of super hot sun. I got my tan, and then we're back to rain and gray. And I think my husband was saying the other day, we're only what 11 days or 12 days into spring, into June, and we've already had the wettest month this year. So I'm not quite excited about what the rest is going to look like, but hey. It
I
is
guess
what
it's
it is. I'm
a different.
still I'm still popping open my rosés
Oh yeah,
and just pretending it's nice.
exactly. After a certain part of the year, you fake it till you make it, right?
Yep, I agree.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, so I think that covers. Then of course the sparkling peach, which is not a rosé, but it sort of looks like one, and I'd say it sort of fills that niche also as just light, fun, accessible, sort of quaffable,
Mm-mm.
uh, great for the summertime.
Yeah. It's a great all around wine too for people that do like Pinot and are very, specific. I feel like more old school generation, they're very all about their reds. They're so not about the rosé and very, particular about their whites or whatever. So I've noticed that rosé, a lot of people that I've talked to of the older generation, they're always like, "Oh, is it a sweet wine?" I was like, no, a lot more rosé is not sweet. It's a lot more on the drier side or semi-dry side. And so I've definitely encouraged a lot of people like, hey, if you like Pinot Noir, find something that's, like there's a few wineries that recently I've tried where they did their Pinot and they've held it for what did they say, like 7 days with the skins on and stuff. So it's this beautiful, almost dark color, but it's still a rosé. And so it's like a good gateway from their pinots, their darks, and their red wines into trying a good dry rosé, and then trying other rosés and stuff. So
There's so much great stuff out there,
I
and
agree.
I always encourage people just to try, because the worst thing that's going to happen is you don't like it that much.
Yeah,
And so,
yeah,
and you,
and you'll know not to buy it again. Yeah.
yeah, and
Where?
that's, I was going to say,
Go
that's
on.
something else that we've really worked to do with Caposaldo is to make all these wines really accessible. And they're all going to be under $15 on the shelf. We really want to showcase sort of best modern expression of Italian wines in a way that everybody can access.
Hmm. And you can't go wrong with those prices too, for people that are especially starting out, or for people that just prefer their sweeter wines or prefer not to spend more than $20 on a bottle of wine. These are great wines that, you can sip on just sitting at home, just like you said earlier. It doesn't have to be with food, it doesn't have to be with anything. It's just a great bottle to pick up at your local, Total Wine. Where else are you guys sold, by the way?
I'll have to find my spreadsheet to give you a full listing. We are in all 50 states. You can go to the Co-Brand website, Co-Brand with a K, KOBRAND.com, and we have a retail locator there. And you
Oh, that's
can,
awesome.
exactly, yeah, you can pop in your zip code and it'll give you every store within, I think it's 20 miles. You can also get to that from Caposaldo.com.
Hmm.
Just look
Yeah,
for
that's really convenient because, sometimes you Google something and you're like, wait, where's this sold, But that's very convenient. People can just go on their brand and find all their stuff. That's really cool.
But I did see Wine Spencer asking if we're sold in Arizona. We are. We're in all 50 states. So again, if you hop on to caposaldo.com, look for the retail locator, that'll set you right up.
Lana's asking what wine goes good with a pistachio cake. She makes great cakes. She made my some of my sweets and my favorite macaroons for my wedding a few
Oh, wow.
years back, and she makes great stuff. What would you suggest with a pistachio cake? Now I'm curious too.
I'm going to go Prosecco.
Yeah.
I think that for a sort of a less sweet dessert like that, something with great fizz and great sort of like pop to it,
Uh-huh.
and pop in that sort of like acidic way too would go great with something like that.
Yeah.
Or the rosé prosecco, to add the sort of florals to it, a little
Mm-hmm.
strawberry note. The peach that you're drinking again is just such a versatile wine that's absolutely going to go with it as well.
Well, Lena, if you just come over, I'll share this one with you. You bring me the cake, and I'll get the wine. So.
And something else that I really like to bring up to talk to people about is that there's this idea, especially here in the States, that if it's a sparkling bottle, it's only for some sort of special occasion or a celebration or something. And I couldn't disagree more. I think that sparkling wines are some of the most fun wines that are there at all. And
I couldn't agree with you more.
why would you ever limit yourself to only if somebody's graduating or it's a birthday or something like that? It's a great time to drink sparkling wine, don't get me wrong, but especially for wines like this that are $12, $13, it's the same you're going to be spending on your bottle of white or your bottle of red. It's just a great way to bring a little more fun to any evening, anything at all. I love opening a bottle of sparkling wine just on like a Wednesday night when we're having pizza. It just makes everything feel a little bit more
I
fun.
know, why, right? Why not celebrate life every day? It doesn't have to be a special occasion. Make your own occasion and make it happen, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And there's this misconception also that sparkling wines are more expensive, where you have to spend more on a sparkling wine than on a still wine in order to get the same quality.
This proves not. 100% this proves it.
Exactly.
Yep.
Yep. But especially on a Friday afternoon.
Yep. I agree. Especially if Lana brings me some cake over.
Yeah, yeah. If you can mail some to New York, I'll DM you my address.
Right? I'll get right on it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me see here. I had a few other questions. Oh, by the way, I forgot to ask, what region is Caposaldo out of?
So the winery is close to Soave in sort of the Veneto region. It's because our primary wines are Pinot Grigio and the Prosecco. We're sort of close to where the action is there. This comes from vineyard sites in Lombardy, very close to Milan, and not far from the Alps, Provincia de Pavia. And it's hillside vineyards. This is all Moscato, I should add. These are growers that have been partners and friends of Antonio's for a long time. He doesn't source a thing that he doesn't know the person who grows it. And he
That's
can't go
awesome.
walk the vineyards and take a look. So, there's a lot of flatland Moscato that comes out of the region, but Antonio goes up into the hills where there's a lot of advantages to that. There's the southern aspect to the sun, so you get better ripeness. There's the soil itself, which is much more limestone, which not only causes the vines to struggle more, which means better grapes, but also conveys some of that sort of mineral into the wine itself, which is part of that lovely, more elegant profile that you get. So that's what it's from specifically.
That's very cool.
Yeah.
Let me see. So what's your favorite wine with Caposaldo, and why?
What is my favorite Caposaldo wine and why? I actually really like the still rosé a lot. Not just because it's that sort of quirky Corvina, which you don't usually see in a wine like that, but it's also just a really pretty and really, again, versatile wine. It's so easy to drink, especially on a nice evening like this. Just all summer on the patio, it's phenomenal. And frankly, I really like the peach a lot.
I could see why. This is going to be one of those that stays around my house now.
That's the thing. It's surprising. I guess I wouldn't say that I'm like the key demographic for it overall, just type of wine, but it doesn't matter. You gotta, break out of that kind of thinking. If something's delicious.
Yeah.
And
I like that. Co-brand says tough question. I agree. When you're making great wines, every wine's great, right? Just depending on what you're feeling like drinking.
That is the best thing about working with a company like Co-brand. It's just the whole portfolio, top to bottom, is phenomenal.
And how many wineries does Co-brand work with? What's their profile like?
Co-brand works with, oh boy, trying to think of what the number is off the top of my head. It's in the realm of 50.
Yeah.
Give or take a decent amount.
That is so cool.
Yeah. And every single one are they're long relationships. They're family wineries, very, very meticulously curated to sort of meet our quality standards, complement our book, and just sort of carry along this notion of quality beyond above everything else.
Yeah, that is so awesome. That's the kind of brand I love working with, because you know that they put their hard efforts into their wines.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
And it makes it fun. It's a lot of hard work, but it's so much fun to enjoy the fruits of the labors.
I agree.
Hope everybody at home is taking a sip too.
I know, right? It's happy hour at any point in time, right? You got to be drinking something.
Especially these days, happy hour is just sort of all the time now.
So. I agree. Are you guys still on a crazy lockdown?
We're climbing out of it. We have been very, very careful and strict here in New York. It's been months of very tight control, and where I live now, we're in phase 2. So outdoor dining finally.
Oh,
and
that's so awesome.
Life is getting back to normal. It's great to see people out on the patios and stuff, and it's about time. So all the more reason to celebrate, and not just celebrate.
Right, I agree. Yes. Alicia, that's my sister on there. She's asking, is it peach? Yes, it's a sparkling peach. That's the wine that I mentioned to you the other day. Definitely, I'll be bringing a bottle over so you can taste it, but it's really, really delicious. I know that she would totally love it.
And some pistachio cake, I'm hearing.
Yep. So. Right. Hi, Nasa. Thanks for joining.
Any other questions from anybody watching at home or?
I haven't seen anyone on there. How much of the cake? You're hilarious.
How much?
Um, he's like, how much of it are you willing to send my way, right?
Hmm.
Do are any of the wines a blend? I don't remember if you told me that Caposaldo makes.
Let me think. So the peach note, it's Moscato, or Moscato is also Moscato. The Chianti is Sangiovese. Prosecco is Glera. The Pinot Grigio is Pinot Grigio. The Corvina for the rosé. The sparkling rosé, yes, it's mostly Corvina, but there is, boy, something else in it that, hold on a second, it's something that I don't hear about very often, so bear with me. Um, oh, Molinara,
Hmm.
well, gives it
Wow.
some, yeah. So Corvina and Molinara, which are very, very classic Northern Italian grapes that um, you tend to only see in blending. Um,
Yeah.
the winemaker I know once said, even if something is, why do you put 2% of a certain wine, a certain grape into a wine? What
Hmm.
difference does that make? And the answer I got was, when you put salt on your steak, what percentage of your meal is that?
Right.
What difference does it make?
Yeah. Yeah. Wow. That's a good way to look at it.
And this is the way that these winemakers and Antonio in particular think about it. They're
Hmm.
never going to stop looking at it, tweaking, blending until he thinks that it's completely perfect.
Hmm.
He has me send him samples from just the marketplace, competitive samples.
Really?
Just every Yeah, he has me send him 5 or 6 bottles of just the other stuff which is out in the market, so we can taste it, decide if he likes what they're doing, if he doesn't, sort of size up the competition and make adjustments based off of that. So he's always improving. It's really something to see.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. Like that's how you get things better, right? And work the kinks out and stuff. I like it.
Yeah, well, another winemaker once told me, if you think about it, I mean, there's all the work you do throughout the year, checking on vines and this and that, but really it's harvest by harvest.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing. You get to make only a certain amount of vintages of wine in your entire career. So if you have a good long career in winemaking, say you work 30 years as a winemaker, that's only 30 times that you
Yeah.
have to really perfect your craft. So that's why so many of these winemakers, they're obsessive about it and they do so much homework and they do so much preparation because again, 30 times in their lifetime to really get something right. They really want to make
Yeah.
sure they nail it.
Yeah, especially if they're passing it down to their family, if that's the legacy they're leaving behind. You want to perfect your craft, otherwise it's just another winery.
Exactly. Yeah. And Antonio is a third generation winemaker, I should add. So there's definitely secrets of the trade and knowing the land and knowing what to look for passed down as well. So
Of course.
I guess you could add on a few years to that too, in terms of
Yeah.
experience from what he's, when he walked the vineyards with his grandfather when he was a boy, and then started learning at that point.
That's so awesome. And that's so awesome that he chose that direction. I know many people here in the Willamette Valley that have kids that, go back and forth, wanting to stay or wanting to completely, get away from it all and stuff. So it's interesting to see uh, people, want to keep going with the legacy of their family and stuff.
Yeah, it's not just something that you can just do because your mom or dad did it. You can't
Yep.
like not be involved and then one day decide, all right, now I'm going to be the winemaker.
Right.
You have to put in the work. There's no guessing in that kind of work because it's chemistry. It's
Yeah.
advanced chemistry when you think about it.
And hey, like every person has their gift, right? And
Mhm.
not everybody might have it in them. Some people might be a better manager or tasting room manager than a winemaker, and then the opposite. It's
Mhm.
yeah, it's kind of fun.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know. I think that probably my moment for becoming a winemaker has passed, but
Yeah. Have
I
you
don't know.
ever wanted to, or has your experience always been towards being a manager and stuff?
Yeah, I've always been on the sort of the selling side of stuff. I started a career in wine, working in a wine shop down in the village, and didn't really know anything about wine, but what a great experience just working with it every day, talking to people about it every day, getting to taste things every day, and yeah, found a passion on that side of it.
Honestly, the
Um,
best way to learn, right? The more you talk about it, the more you sip, the more you taste.
exactly.
Yeah.
But I do have a pretty steep hillside out here in the backyard, so I could plant some vines.
It could be like your retirement plan, if anything.
There you go. Yeah, they make some pretty good Cab Franc out here in New York, so
Yeah, yeah, they
I
do.
had
I like it. Well, if you get going on those Cab Francs, I'm your first. I want to try those.
perfect. I'll trade you for some of that cake.
I like it. That's hilarious. Well, thank you so much, Mike. It's been really fun getting to learn more about Caposaldo. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I have many people on my list that I know are going to really like this, especially from my side of the family, because they're not much of that typical, big, bold wines with higher alcoholic content and stuff. But this is great. It's like a tasty juice with a little bit of something fun in it.
I love that description. That's
Yeah,
exactly right.
yeah,
Well, thanks so much for having me. I love talking about this stuff. I hope that comes through. And to
yeah. Of
anybody
course.
watching, yeah, check out caposaldo.com. It'll tell you where to go to find some, and you can send us a message also to the website if you have any more questions. I'll be the one answering it. So
I
I
like
look
it.
forward.
Oh, I did forget to ask you. Where are you? Do you guys have a tasting room in New York since you're based out of New York with
We
with their wines and stuff?
I wish we did, and keep growing the brand, and I
Mhm.
hope really soon we'll be able to do something like that.
That's fun. Where are besides buying a bottle, and I mean it's not an expensive bottle, so just like you said, you have to try it, and if you don't like it, you're not losing a whole lot, but I can guarantee you that you'll like this. I can guarantee it. But
Hmm.
where are you guys in any restaurants or any like tasting rooms or anything like that out there in New York?
Are we in any restaurants in New York? Not right around where I live.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Caposaldo is a brand. Yes, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
You'll find more Caposaldo on wine lists than you will in retailers, in fact, although there are
No.
plenty of. Mhm. But yeah, restaurants love the brand overall because of that quality proposition. Because the last thing you want is to pour somebody a glass of Pinot Grigio, a glass of Chianti, Prosecco, and for them to send it back to say it's not up to snuff. So we do really well there just because it's such a sure bet.
I like it. All right. Well, thank you so much. And I hope you get to enjoy some more wine the rest of the evening and get going on some of that spicy food, whatever you guys decide to make for dinner.
Absolutely.
Now I need to go figure something out too.
Hmm. Can't go wrong again with the peach. Whatever you do, it's going to go well.
No kidding. All right. Well, cheers, Mike. It was nice
Here,
to meet you. And
good.
thanks so much for joining me.
Bye,
Thanks,
everybody.
co-brand. Thank you, everyone. Bye.